Welcome to the Women Lighthouse podcast, your friendly guide through all the ups and downs of life. We're here to remind you that every woman has the strength to take charge of her journey and make her dreams come true. Each week, we'll share heartwarming stories and helpful tips from amazing women who have faced their own challenges, come out stronger. Tune in, get inspired, and let's start this exciting journey towards achieving your dreams together. The Women Lighthouse, your guide to a brighter tomorrow. Hello, ladies. You're welcome to today's episode of the Women Lighthouse podcast. So today we're going to be concluding our series on everything homeschooling. It's been great having Opeyemi joining to also share her perspective as a homeschooling mother. And also today we're going to be addressing the issue of handling a non-supportive family member when it comes to homeschooling. It could be a spouse, it could be your in-laws, it could be your parents, it could be anybody, but anyone that is closely related to you and has some level of influence in your life, and they don't seem to like the idea or are not comfortable with the idea of you homeschooling, and they are really strongly opinionated about the fact that you should go for traditional schooling over homeschooling. How do you deal with those people? Sometimes it may even be people that are really not so closely related to you, but just want their opinion to count in your life. It may just be a friend or an acquaintance or something. But at least with those ones, you know that whatever they say doesn't really matter. At the end is your decision. So you could just push them aside and focus on what you're doing. But now, with these dynamics I've just explained, if this is your case, what do you do? Stay tuned. You're welcome back. So let's get right into the conversation for today. So basically, in my case, when the idea to homeschool the kids came from me, so I know I'd spoken with my husband about homeschooling when we just got married, but it wasn't a big deal and he didn't pay attention to it because it wasn't something that we were actively thinking of doing. He didn't really know much about it. So when this idea to homeschool my son came up in recent time, that's after we had gotten married, I mentioned it to him and he was like, okay, give me some time. Let me pray about it. So the first thing I would say to you is be patient. Be patient. Don't downplay on their feelings or don't downplay on their need to want to just have some time to process the whole idea. So I gave him time. I just after like maybe a few days or so, I reminded him and he was like, okay, I'm still praying about it. Don't worry, just give me time. I allowed, I think, for maybe an extra week. And as I'm coming back to him, I'm just sharing, not like I'm pressuring him, we need to homeschool the kids. I'm just sharing how I've been reading, have been researching, and just sharing the things I've been learning, the experiences, how excited I am to really go into it. That in fact, I didn't even know it was possible for me to do it as a homeschool, as a working mom. And in the process of sharing my thoughts and excitement and ideas with him, he now got to know that one of his major concerns was the fact that I may want to quit my job because he would try to look at it. How will I homeschool the kids if I'm working? So one of his concerns was the fact that I may come up and say I want to quit my job. But the moment I started sharing with him how even I've seen working mothers how they do it, this how they're doing it, this how they're doing it, and I've really been thinking, okay, there's this co-op that is close to my office. I know there was a time someone mentioned it to me, but I didn't really pay attention. I'm thinking of checking the place out. So like as I was coming back to remind him per se, I wasn't coming to pressure him and like, how far now? Have you thought about it? What do you think? Rather, I was coming to share, like, allay his anxieties in an indirect way. The things I felt were concerns to me and would possibly be concerns to him. I was trying to debunk them and show him the possibilities that were available at our disposal. So that's the first thing. Be patient with them. The next thing is have an open, clear conversation about it. It doesn't have to be a heated conversation. If it's becoming heated, for instance, give it time. Then when you people are calm, you revisit the whole conversation again. So just have a honest conversation. Try to know what their worries are, what their concerns are. I know when it came to my mom, I also gave her that opportunity. And my mom is very opinionated. She always wants her opinion to count. She wants you to listen to her opinion and she wants you to take her opinion. So I gave her that opportunity in the sense that I listened to what she had to say. I didn't necessarily now go and share in depth like I shared with my husband, but I was able to listen to where she's coming from. Then I was like, okay, mom, I've heard. Next thing is you need to understand the person you are dealing with. You need to understand their personality. The way I handled my mom was not the way I handled my dad. For my mom, I just gave her time. I didn't try explaining because I knew trying to explain, it would really not make sense to her as per explanation. But when she's seeing the results, she will calm down. So that's how I handled my mom. I listened to her. I told her, okay, when we're going for field trips, I'll tell her, oh, mom, we're going, it was really fun, this, that, that. Then when she sees the kids too, when they go for co-op, come back, I will go and show grandma your work, that kind of thing. And she hears them talk. She sees that they're actually learning. And that's when I tell, oh, we're going for swimming club, we're learning swimming, we're doing this, we're doing that. So she's seeing the results. And yes, she's still saying, I still think they should go back to school. Or I still think they should go back. She's still airing her own. But she's also seeing that what I'm doing, there's some results in it. So she's not putting as much pressure as she used to, but she still airs her concerns. So open communication is important also, and understanding the uniqueness of whoever you are dealing with, their personality, and you handle them based on that. The next thing is providing an opportunity for your spouse to be involved. If that's now in the case of the spouse, because if it's about in-laws and all that, they may not be able to be directly involved in the homeschooling experience. But for your spouse, for instance, if it's your spouse, providing them that opportunity. Like now, when, like I said, my husband sometimes works from home. So he's not the one teaching them the schoolwork because that's not his strength. But he can engage them in other aspects. He can engage them in reading of their storybooks, reading of their Bible stories. It's part of the learning experience. Or there's this app, Can Academic Kids. He engages them with that. They talk about it. He engages them in conversations. What did you learn today? Or what is this? What is that? So you look at the strength of your spouse and you give them an opportunity to get them involved in the process. My husband is not really the type that loves to go out. So for field trips, he's not the one that handles field trips. Though there was an occasion I couldn't take my son for field trip to Space Museum, and he was the one that did this. And it was a loving experience. He went with the kids for that. So involve them, give them opportunities to be part of the homeschool experience. Don't isolate them and make it look like it's only a thing for we mothers or we women. Then another thing is you learn to set clear boundaries. Establish what support you need from whoever you need, and just let the boundaries be understood. Like for my mom, I had to handle her with wisdom, and I had to make her understand this was what I wanted for my kids. When she comes and she brings up her own suggestions, her opinions, her ideas, I'll tell her, okay, mom, but it's all fine. They're okay. They're doing well. They're interacting with people. So I made her understand that, mom, for now, this is what it's going to be for the kids. I didn't openly go say, oh, it is my decision. You don't have a say in it. I don't need your opinion and all that. But I was able to establish that boundary. And with time, she just allowed it be. Every now and then she chips it in, but with time she just allow it be. So when people come in with their own ideas and all, just make them know what your boundaries are in a very polite and understanding way. You don't even owe them too much explanation. Just let them know, oh, this is what we've chosen to do for this season of our lives, and it's really working for us. And please, I'd appreciate if you can respect that. And it ends there. So it's not a big deal, no misunderstanding, and it's all good. Then there will be sometimes you may have to compromise depending on what it is. So, for instance, my husband would say, this homeschooling thing, how long are we even doing this? In my mind, and the way I see it now at this season, the way things are now, I would love to homeschool my kids to the point where they get to college. That's for me. But I have to factor in his own inputs. So when he comes up and tells me, how long are we even doing this homeschooling thing? I'll just tell him, I'm just taking it one day at a time. For now, it's working for us, but let's see. Maybe when it's time for our son to get to primary school, we can reassess the situation of things, reassess the current season of life we're at that point in time, then now make a decision. So I don't make him feel like his opinion doesn't count. I just have to meet him halfway. So I don't come and say, this homeschooling thing, no, is till we die here. Is still in further notice. In fact, I don't think I even want them to go. So it is not an I decision, it is a we decision. So you must have a common ground. You must be willing to compromise. If the issue is the decision to homeschool is really, really going to bring up an issue between you and your spouse, you have to do what is in the best interest of the child and of the family. So it's not about you, it's about you, the child, your husband, the family as a whole. So you must seek to ensure that there is a compromise to benefit the family. So even if it means you taking your child back to regular school or traditional school, and you give your husband time and revisit it later, that would be a wiser thing to do than to stand your ground and insist that this is what I want and that's how it's going to be. So you must be willing to seek compromise where necessary. Then another way in which you can handle a non-supportive spouse is to be positive and be confident in your decision. So focus on the positive outcomes of homeschooling. Like I earlier mentioned, when you anticipate where the challenges will be, you try to look for possible solutions to address those challenges and share them with your spouse. Share them with your spouse. Let him know that, oh, this is what I'm looking at. Like when my husband saw that there was the option of a co-op, and when he saw the positive sides of it, the flexibility on us, we were not stressing ourselves to do school runs, we were not paying a whole lot on school fees. The atmosphere in the house was less tense, it was more relaxing. He saw the positives. So you have to highlight the positives. When they see the positives, even my mom, the same thing. When they see the positives and you channel their focus to that, they will just relax. No one wants to see something that is working and will not be willing to adopt. So with time, they come around. So when you focus on the positive outcomes of your homeschooling experience and you highlight that to your partner or to whoever, it's easy for them to be more receptive. So, in other words, there will always be negative experiences. Like I said, for me, one of the greatest challenges I've had in homeschooling my son is my son of the year word. Like he's he wants to have his way. He's strong willed. I think that's the word. You will tell him, sit down, come and do your work. But mommy, but mommy, but mommy, but mommy. Sometimes it can be frustrating. So imagine if that is what I'm focusing on, always complaining to my husband about the fact he's so difficult to handle, he's so stressful, I'm beginning to get frustrated. When he hears that kind of thing, what he's thinking of is a solution to my problems. And the solution is take him back to regular school or traditional school. The teachers will handle him so that you can rest. Do you understand? But if despite the challenge I'm facing, I look for possible ways to address those challenges. Yes, these are struggles I'm facing. I can share those struggles with him, but as I'm sharing those struggles with him, I'm also sharing possible ways to address it. So it's easier. So it's important to stay positive, focus more on the positives than on the negatives. Don't magnify those negative experiences to that person, rather magnify the positive experiences. And another thing you would need is a support system. I don't think I can ever overemphasize that enough. You need when you have a support system, homeschooling communities and all, and you share this experience with them, you will see how other people have been able to handle such a situation. Like I remember on our homeschooling community group, somebody raised up this question and said that someone just asked her child, they go school. Why are you not going to school? Like during school hours, they saw her with the kids and we're not asking the kids, are you in school? That in that kind of scenario, what should she answer? So that was brought up in the homeschool community group and people began to share their experiences and how they would respond to such. I think I remember one of them said that she would say, yes, we are in school. The only thing is that we school from home. We don't go to regular school. So people were now bringing up their own suggestions and their ideas and sharing their experiences. Well, imagine if you are not part of a supportive community, how would you be able to get clarity on how to navigate such experience? So it's important for us to know that these are some of the things you would encounter when you make a decision to homeschool and when you're new in homeschooling. Like I said, I've been homeschooling for close to 2 years now. March 2025 will make me 2 years as a homeschooling mom, as at the point of recording this podcast. So it's really been an awesome experience, and I hope that with this which I've shared, it helps you to be able to navigate this situation if you are currently facing this or when you end up facing it. So thank you for joining us today, and do have a lovely. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Women Lighthouse podcast. We really hope today's episode has given you some great tools, resources, and a boost of confidence to take charge of your journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. You can also follow us on our social media handle for even more tips and a wonderful community that's all about supporting your growth. Join us next time for more uplifting stories and encouraging insights. Until we meet again, keep shining bright, stay inspired, and embrace your unique path to a better tomorrow.